Second time doing this video. Yesterday I tried using the program that came with the gimbal, and the video quality was poor. Sound quality wasn't a problem, but the video quality was poor. Today I'm using just the camera from the come with the phone camera program, and it's easier to see the screen, plus it's cloudy today, so I should try again. But first, the dandelions are open better yesterday, so I'll put that video clip in here. No trouble for me to get some dandelion tea or salad, as you can see. They're everywhere. Now, welcome back to Ecocentric Homestead. I'm going to do a little walkabout now. It's May 31st. I'd have lots of bulbs here if I dug them up, because when bulbs grow in a clump, the flowers, they don't send up a flower for every bulb that's there. So if I were to actually dig these up and divide them, I'd have a lot of bulbs. Now I've got two different tulips there. So this one is more lighter. You see there's not much red in that one as opposed to this one over here. It's more red, but they're still all yellow. Dahlias, I have that egg colored one, really dark orange, and then the yellow, and I have this regular one here that's just white and yellow. And this all yellow one down here. Now, as far as what's interesting in the state of the growing season, wild strawberries are blooming. This is the grape by the house, and now see, I can see the screen better today. It's normally what they are at this time. First rose bush, it's out in full leaf, as well as the clematis back there by the old shed. This is going to have to be a project. I'm going to have to make something that looks nice there, but it's not going to get done right now. You see how the grass is roughly cut here. I had problems with my lawnmower, but I'll tell you about that in the next video. I had to cut back with the line trimmer. Now, as you can see, here's where the tomatoes are going. So I cleaned it out earlier in the year. Now I'll be able to go back out over before I plant the tomatoes and get out more of the perennial roots that I missed from before. The lilac blooms are starting to open. They're not open yet. You can faintly smell them. They're open enough for that. Here's the one that we've been hoping for. The snowball bush. The leaves are coming out just beautifully. So if we're past that infestation of beetles, then this thing has survived. Now you can imagine, you can see that grass growing up there and that. So last spring 6 inches of compost down that end. Out this end, there was 12 inches of compost, and I cut up all the grass, took out all the sod, and now look what we got. And I would say, especially that stuff out by the edge, that if I put cardboard down there, I still would have gotten that stuff by the edge. Well, I'll still be late making this look good again. I do have the peas planted there, so they'll grow. And eventually I'll be able to get to it. That strawberry there, that might be a tame strawberry. We'll find out. But on the outside of the fence, you see so far, because I had dug up some bulbs from another place before, and I planted them several places around the garden, and you can see the dahlias out here. You can't really see much because, like I say, I have to get at it and clean it out, but there's a columbine there. Had some more bulbs there, and I don't know what they are. Another columbine there, and among those dandelions there's a echinacea growing. Nothing done along this section of the fence. I kind of feel that the grapes right here are further along than the ones up by the house. That one. And this one, you see, most of the buds are ready to break open and the leaf come out. So remember, we got some small grapes, one little bunch of tiny grapes off this last year, so we might get some good grapes off of this year. So that's getting bigger every year. So that's one of the lovage, and it's that big now. It should be fairly big by the time the summer is out. And then the 2 St. John's wort are there. The first really exciting thing in the garden right now is this. You see all the flower buds? So Romeo cherry, it's been starting to put on buds, put on blooms now for a couple of years. The first year was just a couple blooms, and I broke the branch accidentally, and then last year, but we got no cherries. So we'll see what happens this year. There's going to be a lot of flowers on there a lot for a tiny little bush like that, right? Every year I wonder if I should just tear this thing out and put something else there. That's probably what's going to happen. I mean, it's every year it gets the winter kill on top, see, so it never produces anything in the way of blossoms. The bush is nice when it's leaved out, but the leaves are just barely starting to break open now, and it's well, May 31st. Whereas something like a maple, you see that's out in full leaf already. This is Juliet cherry, and she should be starting to blossom anytime at all, but there's no blossoms on there this year. And the pear tree that I have comes back good every year. I haven't seen any sign of blossoms yet, so we're just still waiting to see what happens. While I'm thinking about it, over here, down in that one, I have some Kentucky coffee bean seeds and just sitting there seeing if they'll grow. I'll just leave them there, right? And some of the year they might decide to grow. And I came out and I was happy to see that, you see, these are coming back. This is spice bush, which my first attempt at growing spice bush was good, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, one down here. Now that's a black locust coming back down there. So this is probably black locust as well. So down here in the protected area, they seem to come back better than what I got planted up above. But I got those couple coming back. It seems like I probably lost most of them. That's a maple seedling actually that got in with the, or is it? That might be the red bud. I'll have to wait and see. And over here, so remember all those apple tree seedlings? I've got 3, 4 that has come back there. 5, 6. This one is coming. So most of these, I'm still building it's a rootstock, right? And then you graft the scion wood on top. Leaves coming out on the forsythia. And as you can see, I did put some bulbs in here, but they're not doing very well. They come up and there's one flower every year. Most of that vegetation is St. John's wort. So if you want to build a wall of something that, especially if you're in a really, where you get really cold winters, this dies back to the ground every year. But as you can see, it's coming up fairly thickly. And later in the year, that'll be just a wall right across there this year. There's another one there, but we're up here, okay, along with that other lovey just there. You see these strawberries that's doing very well here, and they're starting to flower. Now, I put pine berries here many years ago now, and then when I was doing out the strawberry bed, I brought some strawberries down. So technically we don't know what plant that is until we actually get a berry off it. So we shall see. So you remember I brought a bunch of sod down. I had a pile right there. Well, I stacked them in front of the concrete pieces that I put there and tamped them down. This water is getting deeper. I wanted to come up to the top of that rock there. And then hopefully I'll be able to get some more good flat rocks and have a flat wall where the water is just below the surface, a level one. What I want to do is have the flat wall all the way around. Now, this is a leach pond. So what it does, it fills up, it stops the water from just flowing off the property, but then the water will seep out through here and it'll water this bed. So this was going to be a entire growing area. Now I'm going to start working on building islands around the trees and making a growing area out like a typical food forest, right? But it will water all the way down through here. The water that migrates out through the soil by capillary action will migrate all the way down through and keep that area watered even during dry season periods. That's the other pear tree right there. Now you come up here, see I have this other pond I went around with the line trimmer, and I didn't clean off the top of this yet. But you have this pond here, and I got the dam put in. See, no matter how I'm putting that dam, the pipes kind of get clogged up and this pond fills right full. So this one now is already watering this bed here. And it's probably doing a fairly good job of watering this bed. So this entire area, because I have those two ponds there, I am assuming that I will never have to water this on it. It's a really super dry summer. Now here's excitement number 2. So this is Myrobland cherry plum. So this branch had put on flowers now for a couple of years. Didn't get any berries yet, but now we've got all of these out here. Any year now, this is going to give us those little tiny plums. This is the other one. This hasn't that's right close by. There's no blossoms on that one yet. Sagebush, serviceberry, Saskatoon berry, whatever you want to call it. It's in full bloom. There's another one down there with a couple of blooms on them. There's another one way up there. I don't think I can zoom with this program. Yes, I can. So, right there. There's another one in there. But there's one you can see with a lot of blooms on it up there. They're all over the place. Trouble is, they get that fungus in them. White currant, it's in full bloom now. This has just bloomed out in the last couple of days. Yesterday, I said that it wasn't in quite full bloom. I mean, there's still closed blossoms on it, but most of them are open now. Hardy kiwi should grow here. I think, yeah, okay, let's turn you down. You see coming right there from the base? So it's coming up from the base. But I expected this branch here to shoot out. And the same thing I expected this one to shoot out. So, really, to be honest, I'm not even knowing how these grow yet. Maybe they'll grow similar to the clematis, where some of the vines up higher do reshoot, but they come back basically from the root ball. I don't know. Anyway, experiments are still ongoing. I think I can get a kiwi plant to grow here, and so that's why I'm stubborn and keeping with it. Birch leaf pear, that was given me as a free seed actually, and I got a free packet of seed. But I only had this one tree out of that packet. So I had to do some more research to decide whether I want to actually grow some more of those. I did just notice, that's the Canadian bunchberry. Some people call them crackerberries, I think. They're out in full bloom now. They are edible, the berries, but tasteless. So if you had a strong berry that you wanted a thickener for, then you'd use these. Basically, they're used as a thickener for other jams. This is fir. I think you can do it with fir as well. People talk about spruce tip tea. The new spruce tips growing already. This is on the fir tree, but you'll find them on the spruce trees. See, so far as I know, this is a spice bush. And it comes back, puts out leaves every year, but it's not growing very well. The mulberry tree, so they're late coming back, the same as grapes. They seem to be coming back good again. So this is the mulberry, red mulberry that I've got down by the house. The ones up above are basically at the same state. There's a little spruce with all its new tips on. Someone wanted to make spruce tip tea. Now here's a curiosity for you. I left that tree there to see what it was, remember? And I had been mowing around it. So it's a cherry of some sort. And it's going to have blossoms on it this year. There's actually quite a few flower buds on there. I am hoping it's a seed from that one over there. In which case we'll get big cherries. Exactly what they'll taste like, well, I have to wait until the fruit grows to find out. It doesn't look like a pin cherry to me. That's why I thought it might be birch earlier on, because it's a kind of a weird looking pin cherry. It might be that, but I don't think so. The buds, the flower buds, there's too many buds in a group for me to think that will be pin cherry right now. Red currant out in full bloom. A little bush that I keep forming with the edge trimmer here is out in full leaf. I never do remember whether I've got two red currant bushes or do I have two black ones. At any rate, this one is pretty far along, I think. And then we got this one. You see those two? The flowers are different than the red one, so that's what's making me think that I got two black ones. These gooseberries are a little different, you see. That's a gooseberry. The flowers are different, the leaves are different, and the fruit is larger. I have 2 black gooseberries here, even though the person that gave them to me, I guess, didn't even know he had gooseberries, but that's what I ended up with. Now that I can see the screen today, I can show you the excitement. What's this? Excitement number 3? This is the other Myra Bland cherry plum. You see? Yeah, a couple right there. There's a couple right there. I'll bring you around. So now I'm just going to put the camera up. I don't know exactly what it's recording. Got some flowers right there. So that's like a dozen flowers on that Myra Bland cherry plum now. So we should be getting them any year though. That's the Romeo cherry clone that I made. And I've already got a couple of things planted here, but it's a matter of this summer starting to be gung-ho about cleaning things out. So yeah, this well, would you look at this? So you remember the honeyberry I had here? I pulled it out, and there was part of the root left, and now that's growing. And out of curiosity, I'm going to see what it's like if I grow both of those bushes together. I think this is looking like a nice little tree here right now. I know, it's a sea berry. A female sea berry. And you see all the brown blobs underneath the leaves. Well, that's the flowers. And if you go over it, this is how they flower out. Now, if these males that I had here were putting out pollen, and I haven't seen anything on them yet that made me think it was a flower, but the flowers are supposed to be really tiny on these. But if they put out pollen, then this tree come fall will be loaded. Where you see all that brown now will be these little small pin cherry size orange berries. They are delicious, sharp but delicious, and very high in vitamin C, basically a good substitute for oranges. So now more to that, if I get the time to actually care for that one, it'll probably grow up. But I'm going to put a male there. I'll have a male there. And where I took that blueberry bush out, down the other end, I'm going to put another male there. And I think that one female I got right now, I'll probably put over right there. And have 4 of them in a line, a female, male, female, male. And see how I like that. The regular cherry tree, you see. So you remember that little one that I showed you over there. Well, the buds on it are at about the same state as this tree, and they kind of look a lot like them. So this cherry tree is just starting to open the flower buds now. I hacked them way back last year. But these shoots are coming back looking healthy. And there's shoots pretty much all over, so we'll see what happens. Of course, now that I've done that, it's going to require me to do some selective pruning of the shoots, etc., etc. But we'll cross that when we come to it. The reason why I'm just walking over here now is because since I mentioned that plum tree, I might as well walk over to this one. And this is the new growth from the old tree that the moose pretty much ate. It grew out from lower down on this stick. So it's growing along, and that technically is as old as that other plum tree, so it might start bearing plums any year at all now. Once again, I'm clearing some stuff back, but we'll talk about what I'm doing with the actual clearing it down, the specifics, in another video. But right now, I'm just saying that I'm going to have squash planted here, and some work I was already doing. I ended up putting a thick layer of mulch here, because when I bring out the squash plant transplants, I can move back the mulch and just plant them down through it, right? And there's a project going on which we won't talk about here. We'll just talk about the beds themselves. The rhubarb is coming back. I mean, that's beautiful this year. Which, well, I mean, that's why we redid it, right? When I did the harvest of them, I broke off several seed heads, which I don't know why it's going to seed. I got to get those off because, well, once it goes to flower, or should I? I'll decide. I might let it flower. Two more no-dig beds with all kinds of weed issues, but potatoes will be going here again. Got the peas planted down end of each of these beds. That's the sugar snap peas, edible pod, regular looking peas. Beans, so peas and beans are different species. So there'll be beans planted out in that bed. And then we have sugar beet in this one. But before I did that, I put in turnip and decided that I didn't want to use the bed up for turnip because I wanted it more for beets. And so a turnip are coming up. I don't know how big they'll grow before I want to weed them out, but I wouldn't expect the beets to be up yet. Garlic, as you know, the ones that we found in the other bed doesn't seem to be doing that well, that we transplanted over here. There are some, like there's a radish right there. I think I see a lettuce over there. So the radish and the lettuce that I poked in here seems to be sporadically sprouting. Now, as for the onions, we've got 3 beds of them. I mean, that's a good view of the onion bed like that. But I'm not seeing where one of them failed. It looks like every one of them are growing. So I got it in time enough, I guess. And we had the right weather. The onions that I left specifically to grow up and go to seed, they failed. This over here is one that I missed, and it's growing. And I'm going to leave it there to go to seed because, like I say, the other ones failed. This bed here, well, we had it because we had those scrawny looking onion sets that we thought might never come to anything. And now I can see some that are not, they haven't done anything yet right there, but most of these came up as well. Let's see what happened. Okay, there's a couple of little seedlings over there. That was those of my old seed. There's like 5 Elsa Craig seedlings there, and you can't even really see them now. There's little scrawny things that I planted over there. I have the other onions hardened off, so I'm going to plant them out now. The 72 cell tray. This is where I planted the yellow beets. I don't think that's a beet. That's 2 beets there. And that's 3 beets right there. Another one showing out right there. So they're coming up all over the bed. This is basically in-ground bed native soil, so it doesn't look like that dark, rich stuff that you see in the people's raised garden beds. But I am particularly not happy with how my strawberry beds are looking. We'll see how it goes during the summer, and of course, like I say, cleaning out the weeds and seeing what mulch I can put on there. But they are flowering. So we'll soon have some berries, I guess, in another couple of weeks. Back over by the rhubarb, we planted carrot here. Now, it's about this time that I would say, okay, maybe we'll start to see carrots popping up. But I'm not seeing any yet. That's that bed. And then over in this bed, same idea. I don't see anything yet. That bed, of course, there's going to be beans planted in that in probably next week. Out in this outside, right there, there's 3 in that row. It's broccoli Arcadia. There's 1, 2, I count in that row, broccoli Romanesco. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I count in that row, broccoli Everest. There's 5 I count in this row. Cabbage, Hurley, Jersey, Wakefield. So they're starting to pop up. And the same thing is happening here. See, they're just up, right? This one is starting to get its first true leaf. And all the way along, so what I planted out in this bed seems to be all germinating and coming up. I've got the cabbage and killing that I was growing inside. I have that hardened off, so that'll be planted out in the next few days. I'm going to try this camera on wide angle for a bit. As far as the rest of the patch goes, this would be nicer, I think. We got this one here. I'm going to weed that out and set it with rutabaga. We've got 3 beds here and 3 beds here. They're going to be set out with potatoes, and of course the 2 over there. 8 beds of potatoes. This is going to be a bed of beans. There's another beauty back here. Rhubarb needs full sun, they say. Oh, somebody forgot to tell this rhubarb that. So it came up a little later than stuff in full sun, but that's growing nicely. It's last of May, and I can start harvesting some stalks from that now if I want. Now the blueberries, you see now they're coming out nicely. They wouldn't leave out when we moved them, but the leaves are out on them now. That was the one that was in the dry area. And this one here in the soaking wet area, it was struggling along, you see. So, but this was the one that was soaking wet, and it'll do much better there now. I think I want to put 2 gooseberry bushes over here in front of that rhubarb. They don't grow very big, the gooseberry bush. We know how big those grow because we got them. And you could keep them trimmed down if they did get out of hand. So if I put 2 gooseberry bushes in front of that one, and 2 with the 2 blueberry bushes here, I think this should start to look nice. I haven't gotten to cleaning out the herb garden, no. I did do some harvest of the lovage already. I mean, look at this thing, it's growing like crazy. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the lovage. It's a different texture than having celery. But you take them and you just cut up the leaves and throw them in your salad, and this is a good texture for eating, and it tastes like celery. Just doesn't have the texture of celery. So I did that, and also you can dry those leaves and crush it up, and then you've got a shake that you put over anything, right, on your sandwiches or your eggs or wherever, that tastes like celery, to give it that celery taste. It will be similar to putting celery seed on your stuff then, but it's lovage. Plants are all growing nice. I just haven't gotten to be able to get out. I was feeling particularly bad for a couple of months there. I didn't even realize how bad I was feeling until I got over it, and now I'm doing fairly well again and getting things done. But that was something else I did a harvest of already. That's the chives, and you see they're starting to flower too now. The flowers are much stronger than the leaves, and yeah, they're excellent for salads. I'll get to it at some point. Speaking of which, this is an edible of some sort. I can't remember, but is it ground ivy? I don't remember the name. We'll get this done as the time comes. It's all high on the priority list to have a frame around this. But I got quite a few raspberries off it last year, and I will get a lot of raspberries there again this year. There's another area I'm going to put squash in. See, that's the 2 herb beds right there. And I put squash in there. See, the apples too, just getting their leaves open, eh? And they're one of the later things to leave out, that's all. Let's go for a little view of the ocean. Got to editing this video, and I realized I had way more than should be put on one video. And this is the first place I got to do a decent cut in the video. So it's going to be way longer than my other videos to start with. So I hope you enjoyed it. There's lots to be seen and talked about on a rural homestead. Make sure you follow along, and I shall see you in the next video.